Welcome back. In this video, we are going to see what are Java's built-in exceptions. We have seen what is an exception and how we can handle this. Normally, we use five keywords like try, catch, throws, and finally. Now, we are going to see how Java's or what are the Java's built-in exceptions. So, as we have seen before, there are two kinds of exception. One is checked, other one is unchecked. So checked exception is also known as compile time exception. This is normally like syntax errors or file not found. So these are checked exceptions. Other one is unchecked exception. So Java does not verify unchecked exception at the compile time. So this will be done at the runtime. For example, something like divide by 0. So when we get the input from the user, we'll come to know that one variable which he has entered is 0, so that division is impossible. So this is unchecked exceptions. So let us see what are Java's built-in exceptions. So before that, please remember, Java's got several exception classes, and everything is defined inside java.lang, and this java .lang has got a subclass called runtime exception. So this runtime exception is a subclass for or which is no which belongs to the java.lang, right? So let us see what are the unchecked and what is the checked exceptions in Java. So like arithmetic exception, which we have seen in the previous videos, we say unchecked. Array index out of bound exceptions, class cast exceptions, illegal argument exceptions, all this belongs to the unchecked exception. So if I say arithmetic, under arithmetic, no arithmetic errors such as divide by 0 is an arithmetic exception, or invalid casting, we know casting, type casting, or we have argument exceptions. We used invalid argument to invoke a method, that is going to give an error called illegal argument exception. So then we have illegal state exceptions, unsupported operation exceptions. So these whatever you could see on the screen, everything is unchecked exception. So let us see what are the checked exceptions. So class not found. So think that you gave included a class in your program, and you have compiled your program, and when you compile it only, your system is going to check for the classes which you have included in your program. So this could be found easily, and this we call it as checked exception, class not found. Or interrupt exception. So one thread has been interrupted. In Java, we Java support multi-threading, and one thread got interrupted. So these all checked exceptions. So now let us see how we can create our own exception subclasses. There are cases where you have to create or you have to handle situation which is specific to your applications. You are going to create your own exception types which is going to handle situation which is very specific to your application. So as I told, Java defined a subclass called exception. Exception is a subclass which is of course a subclass of throwable. So don't get confused. Throwable is a superclass and exception is a subclass. So let us see how we can do it. We have to let us see, this is a throwable is a superclass, and we are going to extend this throwable in my class. So this is I've created exception, and exception class also already defined. I need not to create this. So these two will be there in Java packages already. We are not creating. This is what actually happened. The superclass is going to be the throwable, and exception is going to be the subclass for the probable class. Now I'll create my class where I'm going to extend exception. Look at this. So this is extend this. Now I can inherit all the properties from the throwable class. Throwable class have got so many methods. So I can use all the methods from the throwable class. Why? Because I've extended exception and extend exception has extended the throwable class. This is inbuilt. Whenever I want to create my own exception, so I can just extend exceptions. So let us see a program where we are going to extend. And before we see, let us see what are the methods which is available in throwable. So we have no final, sorry, fill in stack trace to we have a two string method. These are all the methods. And if you look at the string two string method, which is no, which is of type string, and what this is going to do is which is going to return a string object containing a description of the exception. So let us see what it does. So this method, please remember, this method we need not to call explicitly. This will be called by the print line method when outputting a throwable object. So you have to remember a few methods which is available throwable right from toString to the fill and stack trace. Okay, so let us see an example for this. So I can find my exception is a class. So which extend exception. This is a super class. So there is so there is what you call a constructor for this, and where of initialize detail to a, and there is a method public string to string, and what it has to done. See, I can use this is no method overriding. Superclass and subclass have got the same method. String to string, and which is doing a certain job. Now let us see the main class. The main class I have taken it as exception demo. So the exception demo have a method called compute, which throws my exception, and whenever this is throwing my exception, this is going to say that no, if you call this method which is going to my exception, so this is a place which is going to throw my exception. So this is no another method in the main class, and this is the last method. Okay, so always the program starts with the main method. So instead the main we have try, and try is going to call the compute method. So it will come to this try with value 1. And what is a value? A value is going to be 1, and it says it may throw my exception. I've created my own exception. My exception. This is what my exception, right? So what it does, which is going to print call compute. So which is going to print a value. So when I do this, I'll be getting the output as call compute in the bracket 1, and which is going to check whether a is greater than 10. What is a value at this stage? Which is not greater than 10. So which is going to exit normally, normal exit. I'll be getting the statement. Now look at after this, it will come back to the next statement or method where compute is going to be 20. So it will come to this statement again. Now a is going to be 20. So which is going to print call compute 20. If a is greater than 10, throw new my exception. So it will come to this exception point. So what happened? Where I'm going to set detail is equal to 20, and it will come back to this next statement. So it will everything is done. It will come to the statement where this e is going to call the method called toString. So finally, I'll be getting caught my exceptions. Look at this caught my exception, and what is the detail for that? Detail is stored in the variable called detail. So what I've done, I've successfully created my exception. Please remember